70% HP remaining. So even though you lost that game for Go, you still receive some information about it. And the adjustments that Go has to make here is you have to get more value out of Dynamax. We can see Leonardo with even a hindered amount of damage on his Kyogre still had 3 valuable turns, never even clicking max Geyser because of the threat of Gastrodon, just the max Hailstorms and then the max Lightning on that 3rd turn of it. And Go really did not get that much because once he Dynamaxed, he was kind of stuck there and got knocked out from the Grassy Glide. So is it Yveltal able to Dynamax and use max Airstream so you end up being faster, or is it the Regieleki who is, it seems like, the main damage output on Go's team outside of Zacian there? He did not Dynamax on turn 1 and he got knocked out with the max Hailstorm, bringing it down low and then knocking it out from the hail. So if you did theoretically Dynamax that turn, the max Hailstorm would not have been enough to bring you down because of your double HP. So I'd like an adjustment from Go to really value that early game Dynamax more from his side.
Yeah, or at least some way to be putting the pressure on, because at this point too, when you're playing passive against a team that can deal so much damage, you're going to be finding yourself at a disadvantage to the point where you are then behind, you are then Dynamaxing something that isn't really going to be lending you much. And passive is nice sometimes, but this isn't necessarily the case for it. So I'm excited to see how things are adjusted up. The lead, though, the Zacian and the Regieleki is going to be bringing out the other restricted instead of the Yveltal, facing off against the Kyogre and Zacian again for Leonardo.
So the Yveltal, yep, being left in the back at least for the start of this game and opting right into the Zacian mind games on turn 1. I don't think either Leonardo or Go can feel comfortable in this position because we did not see any speed tiers interacting between the two of them in game 1. So you still do not know which Zacian is faster. And then the struggle that you have of Regieleki versus Kyogre, right? If the Kyogre Dynamaxes, then you could be wasting your attack into it because it wouldn't knock out. But then if you don't respect the Regieleki Dynamax on turn 1 as an option, you could really take a lot of damage.
Yeah, those Regieleki Dynamaxes are dangerous because they can come out of left field, and it's another Pokemon that can do so much damage. But considering we did see the screens in the first game, not too surprised to see that it's going to go ahead and set it up, because that is a very valuable to the team, and playing that passive and making sure that not much is going to be done. Little bit of damage hit from Go into the Zacian Leonardo's end, and now it'll be a big Behemoth Blade fire off in retaliation, bringing the Regieleki down real low.
Yeah, it's very low. Fortunately, though, for Go, there's no hail this time around to start ticking its HP there. But I like how those two trainers opted to deal with the Zacian mirror here, or the matchup. The Go went for the Sacred Sword into the opposing slot, thinking Leonardo might switch it out there, so he didn't think he was going to opt in. He didn't have the guts to play the Zacian game of chicken. And then Leonardo actually clicking Behemoth Blade into the Regieleki, not caring about the other Zacian as well. So I like how these trainers are just like, they're just not opting into that scary position of the Zacians attacking each other.
Yeah, to this point, though, not too many attacks coming out. It'll be a pivot from both ends. The Gastrodon hitting the field from Go side instantly countered with the Rillaboom. That's also going to make its appearance. Protect as the pivots go off just to make sure the Zacian is set up, and the fake out will do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, you had to protect there just like we saw in game 1, because you do not want to take any damage for free on your Zacian, because just, you know, a little bit of HP can be the difference between the opposing Zacian's Behemoth Blade knocking you out or you just barely clinging on there. So now this is also a bad spot for the Gastrodon here, as Rillaboom switches in exactly on the correct turn for Leonardo to have that pressure with Grassy Glide. And because you had the fake out on Incineroar before, you also have access to fake out potentially with Rillaboom as a Pokemon. Gets access to fake out, so you could also threaten the Zacian that way. But the Gastrodon said, absolutely under no circumstances can I stay on the field.
Gastrodon's just popping by to say hello. He's got to go. He's more important things to do at this point. Yveltal taking its place would have withstanded any hit from the Rillaboom much better, but instead, the Rillaboom hitting the high horsepower into the Zacian, and the Zacian's not doing too well at all this turn. It is also going to be the victim of a parting shot.
Yeah, going to lower that attack. It did some solid damage into Incineroar, right? Bringing it down to under half of its HP. So now Leonardo has to decide who do I want to bring in here? And the answer is the Zacian, because it would be able to clean up a KO onto the opposing Zacian on Go's side if he is able to outspeed it there. The thing, he also has access to Play Rough into Yveltal, which we saw in game 1. I think it did about like 90% of the damage to Yveltal. So this is a really tough spot for Go, because both of his Pokemon are really pressured by Leonardo's side, and you don't know. It seems like one hit would be enough to knock it out, and anything that wouldn't get the knockout, a priority Grassy Glide, that chip damage it would provide into that slot with a double target would probably be enough to secure the KO. So now you have Protect Mind Games. Is he going to double into my Yveltal because it's full HP, or is he going to try to play a more mid-ground play of one attack into each slot for Go? This is a really pivotal turn for him here.
And I'm really looking for some mileage to come out of this Yveltal. Didn't really provide much in this first game. It snarled, and we saw just how much damage Kyogre is doing. Anyways, I'd like to see some sort of offensive play, because a lot of counters are happening at this point. The Rillaboom could have been well countered by it, but the Yveltal, maybe realizing how important it could be for this match, is going to go into the back. The Grassy Glide, that's going to hit into the Gastrodon slot. This Slug's not having a great time. Critical Hit not going to matter at this point. That Slug was gone anyways.
Yeah, I was really worried about that switching, because like he could Grassy Glide the Yveltal if he wants to double target that slot, so that was not a safe switch in.
Another Sacred Sword, but the Incineroar not swapping in means it's not doing much damage, and the Behemoth Blades that keep getting fired off in retaliation are adding up, and now it is 2 Pokemon down for Go and down to the final 2. It'll be the Yveltal and the Regieleki, and they have a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah, and Leonardo with that 4-2 lead right now, again looking in such a commanding position in this matchup, with Go forced to bring in his low HP Regieleki and the Yveltal that we really haven't seen do anything besides click Snarl in this set. So you're pretty much forced to, if you want to survive longer than this turn, you're forced to Dynamax the Yveltal. If you want to do as much damage as you can Dynamax the Regieleki. Hope priority Grassy Glide does not KO you. I'm not sure if you would be able to hang on with how low of HP you are. You're probably still knocked out anyway because of the grassy terrain being up, the boost to its damage there. So I don't even know if that's a safe play for you at this spot, and it just shows how strong of a player Leonardo is and how well he has done throughout Sword and Shield in VGC, because this spot is, did Leonardo even lose a game or a Pokemon in game 1? I think it was it a 4-0 or was it a 3-0?
Regardless, it was a very, very strong showing, and that's, again, what we're seeing at this point. And with only 2 Pokemon remaining, it is the time to go for the Dynamax. It is going to be the Yveltal. I do like this. Sure, Yveltal has things that are a bit more passive, but it can deal some damage. It does have this opportunity to go for the max airstream to make sure that you can set up and try and just steamroll the end of the game by having that speed advantage. Grassy Glide into the Regieleki to finish that off. And now we'll have to see what can it be done. It is going to be a tall to ask, that is for sure, especially now with the Behemoth Blade being fired off. You have to do what you have to do, though, but now no chance at recovery with the Oblivion Wing. It's only going to be damage from here on out, and Zacian not taking any.
No, it's not taking much damage at all, and it's just so unfortunate for Go there, because there could have been another world if you had a better attack. It's just, it really stinks that for Go that Zacian resists both the dark and the flying type attacks, which is all Yveltal really has in this format. Because if you could have got the KO on Rillaboom, getting the max airstream boost, outspeeding Zacian, and then being able to knock it out on the next turn, maybe could have got something rolling. But again, remember, we still have an Incineroar on the back. We still have the Kyogre, which could boost its damage by setting up the rain as well. It just was a pretty much like insurmountable matchup here at this current moment when the Yveltal finally Dynamaxed. And we talked in team preview of game 2, we needed more emphasis on a strong Dynamax usage out of Go in game 2, and it again came too late in the match.
Yeah, and I feel like there was just a couple of reads as well going in the match. There was a couple of swaps that just weren't going well whatsoever. The Gastrodon coming in, the Zacian from Go's side using that Sacred Sword to try and catch something in on the swap, not opting for that Behemoth Blade. Things that could have gotten a lot of mileage if you're getting those turns correctly. But unfortunately, when things aren't necessarily going your way or your opponent is just making that better read or not going for what you're predicting, it is going to put you a little behind, and one turn too many like that has led to the situation.
Yeah, and I think about the Regieleki too. It is the more supportive set, like we saw it click light screen earlier on, so it might not have a lot of offense, and so that's why it probably wasn't a great Dynamax option for Go in this matchup, where it might have been a much stronger option than the Gastrodon before in the Yveltal.
Yeah, at least taking a KO on the way out. The Incineroar going to be eliminated. It's holding on through a lot of these attacks, just doing a little bit more and a little bit more damage. A full health Kyogre at this point hitting the field. And you can only target one thing at a time with the Yveltal. We already saw that Zacian in the back. It wasn't touching it.
And now the Zacian, or excuse me, the Yveltal losing its Dynamax, using those 3 turns, doesn't have the max airstream to hit the Rillaboom or try to bring the Kyogre down lower. If Kyogre was maybe lower, like 30% HP or something, you could try to do something. But yeah, at this with this 3-1 advantage, Leonardo is going to play it as safe as he can. He wants Rillaboom to be able to switch back out and have Fake Out later on in the match if something gets knocked out here. So it's definitely the safe play, but Leonardo is definitely feeling a victory coming on.
Especially since Leonardo hasn't even used Dynamax yet, so a safe way to make sure things are nothing chaotic happens. I don't know how things could go awry, but it is day 2 of the Pokemon World Championship.
Yeah, you can't trust anybody,
You can't trust anyone
Not even
out here.
yourself.
Absolutely not. So a full HP Dynamax Kyogre. Absolutely no way for the Yveltal to deal with it. And the Rillaboom swapping to the back too is really nice, because this Oblivion Wing, being able to hit that Rillaboom Force super effective, is a way to recover HP. And I mean, you have to play for any sort of out, any sort of misplay, but now the Max guys are finally going to be cleaning up this match.
Yeah, Kyogre trying to take credit for this match when it hardly did anything. It was really the Rillaboom and the Zacian that were so pivotal for Leonardo Bonanomi in that win, so congratulations to them. A really fun set between these 2 players from 2 different regions in the world, seeing how I think that was the first Regieleki that was more supportive that we've seen this week, and I think most of them have really been more